Welcome to the Fit Pharmacist YouTube channel. If you're looking to create a breakthrough in your pharmacy career and script your brand to stand out, to dispense your full potential, this is where I share not only what will effectively equip you to do just that, but how to practically implement these strategies into your life.
I see my victory so clear. I see my victory so clear. And today, we break through. And today, we break through. And today, we break through. And today.
If this is your first time here, please be sure to hit that subscribe bell so that you can never miss a dose of the real talk that will make the biggest impact to your career and sphere of influence for your brand. If you're excited to dive into this week's topic on emotional intelligence, please take a quick second and hit that like button on this video. I consider it a dose of support and really appreciate every single act of encouragement from you, Fit Pharm fam. Okay, so I am so excited for this episode, my friends, as to what I'm about to share can seriously be a game changer and personal brand maker for your pharmacy career. And this is not hyperbole. Like, it can honestly make that big of an impact in every area of your professional and personal life. So I encourage you to take notes, to come back to this episode, re-listen to it, because this is going to be broken down into a 5-part series so that you can really get a deep dive into what we're going to cover. Your EQ, that is your emotional intelligence. Now, this is likely not the first time you've heard of emotional intelligence, but what exactly is it? How do you become more emotionally intelligent? Well, in this episode and the 5 episodes in this mini-series, I'm going to walk you through the 5 facets of emotional intelligence and how you can increase your EQ as a value-driven pharmacy professional. As a quick outline of what we're going to cover in this mini-series, I've divided this episode into the 5 core components to understand how to develop each area of your EQ, plus how to tie them all together and collectively grow your emotional intelligence as a whole. We're about to take a deep dive into self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skill. So let's get this party started. The 4th facet of emotional intelligence, and boy, let me tell you, this is the one trait that everybody wants more of. It's the, quote, cure-all people deem as the solution to their slump, the magic bullet to get things done. I am talking about the magical word of motivation. Yes, one of the most inspiring qualities a leader can have is to consistently live their lives and carry out their work with a high sense of drive and energy to exceed expectations in all that they do. As someone who you could probably guess has been described as motivating, let me set the record straight for y'all real quick. The genuine form of motivation does not come from external cues, things outside you, like materialism or means to an end, or things, shiny objects drawing you to get motivated. The real form of motivation is an intrinsic need to achieve for the sake of achievement. And the word achievement, that's got a lot of definitions. But when you make it about serving others and using what you've learned, what you've gone through to help and guide someone else become the hero of their own story, that's really what achievement is for me. That's really what a personal brand is all about. And that's what I teach my clients and go through how to instill that in your content creation and how you conduct yourself both on social media and in person. That's what I coach and that's what I guide you through in the Script Your Brand e-course. As you've probably experienced in life, whether it's pharmacy school or as a pharmacist with colleagues or patients or whoever, or just outside of pharmacy, like eating out, whatever it is, not all motivations are guided by good intentions. So to divvy up the real deal fist pumpers, there are several signs that you can use to detect one's intentions and your own to mark your level of motivation. The first indicator is passion. Having a deep love for the work you're doing cannot be faked. It cannot be made up. You just love what you do. Now, this differs from person to person about what you're passionate about. Because you could have someone that's super passionate about underwater basket weaving, but you don't even understand what that's about. So how are you supposed to be passionate about it? It's unique to you. So I invite you to answer a question that only you know the answer to. What really ignites your passion? What makes your eyes widen and smile broaden when someone just mentions the work, the project, the idea, the topic, whatever it is? This level of intrigue in a passionate individual runs so deep that she or he seeks out challenges, has a thirst to learn, and finds immense satisfaction in a job well done. Oh no, it does not stop there though. Well done just isn't good enough to repeat next time. True passion leads you to constantly improve and exceed your previous achievements, being relentless in your pursuit of excellence and never settling with the status quo, even if you've already redefined what that is in your prior successes. You literally set a new standard on success, driven by your passion. Number 2 is raising the bar. And I'm not talking about squats, but those are good too. Here's the question. Did you hit your mark on your last project? Did you cross your T's and dot your I's? Nice. Next time, that won't be acceptable. Redesigning what the mark is, rewriting the T's and I's in cursive, capitalizing them, making them all fancy with a dose of swagger, that is what can be done. Having an innate desire to dispense your full potential, knowing that you won't settle for an easy task, is the name of the game in raising the bar. This might sound intense, this might sound off-putting, but when you're passionate about something, this is literally what you're drawn to. And if you're using what I'm saying and applying it to a task that you're doing or a job or whatever, and you're not this doesn't make sense, this is not me, that might be an indicator that you need to look into your passion. Now, I'm not saying if you feel this way, you're not passionate about it and you're a fraud. That's not what I'm saying. So don't hear what I'm not saying. But this is a clue you can use to identify something that you're genuinely passionate about, both in yourself and in other people. And you know what I'm talking about. You're talking with your friends, hanging out, and you've got this standard of emotion where you're all talking, it's all chill, but then a topic comes out and one of your friends jumps up and starts getting real animated and talking with their hands, and they've got the head bobbing and blah, 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 and they just get really into it. That's what I'm talking about. That's what you want to dive into. That's passion. 3 is to track your results. I'm going to bring you back to goal setting. The standard is literally SMART goals. You have heard of this, right? So the purpose for the motivated individual is to keep score as a means to track progress along the path to achievement, because what gets measured gets managed, as Peter Drucker once said. This is important because you're putting in a lot of time, effort, and sweat, so you want to follow up along the way to make sure things are going to plan. Because many times in life, I know this is a shocker, things will not go according to plan. Say it ain't so. Yes. Enter 2020 and our current reality, along with one of my favorite topics to speak on, either as a keynote address or a breakout session in an organizational meeting. The topic of resiliency, how to flip your script on adversity and leverage that into innovation. That's my wheelhouse. That's what I've lived, it's what I breathe, and it's what I preach on, how to practically address not if that happens, but when that happens, how to strategically and practically hit that head on. That's my wheelhouse, because here's the real talk on this. If setbacks or failures do occur, the motivated individual will remain optimistic even when the odds are not in their favor. Rather than seeing the adversity as a loss, they see it as an opportunity to prove it can be overcome. The best example that every single one of us have seen of this is 2020, the pandemic, and all the changes that went along with that. There were some terrible things, and there was also some really great innovation and things that we never would have had to innovate if it wasn't out of necessity. And one thing that every one of you listening or watching can attest to is through this time in the pandemic, it has exposed the frauds in leadership, the people that had the position, but when crap hit the fan, they either froze or went scurrying away with excuses. But the other thing, the magic moment that all of us saw, is those genuine leaders who may have been more introverted or quiet or supporters, or however you want to label it. Those real leaders that were in these situations of adversity, they couldn't take it anymore, and they were pulled into action. They didn't know what to do. None of us have experienced a pandemic before, but they couldn't stay silent anymore. And it developed extraordinary leaders that now have positions of power to put their passion into practice. That's real talk, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. It was extraordinary. It was taking terrible things and making the most of them. Not to minimize the pain or anything like that, but to really say something needs done and I can't stay silent anymore. That is what I'm talking about. And I guarantee you saw this happen at least once throughout this pandemic that we've all been facing. Now, looking back at the previous facets of emotional intelligence that I've shared with you so far, we can say that we're combining self-regulation with motivation to achieve our outcomes or drive them as leaders, as a means to come out on top despite things not going to plan. And guess what? Things never go according to plan 100% of the time. And here is something I want you to think about because it is the truth. The only thing you can plan on is that things won't go according to plan. There, I said it. It's tweetable, whatever you want to do, but it's a message that needs shared. The only thing you can plan on is that things won't always go according to plan. So if you love the plan, you got to have certainty. There's one to put in your cap. It'll never steer you wrong. It's like the guarantees of life, the things that you know are going to happen. You're going to live, you're going to pay taxes, you're going to die. And you also want to know the truth that what you can plan is that things won't always go according to plan. It's a law of life. Like, don't eat yellow snow. It's just something that you have to know. Looking at these components from a leadership perspective, if you're in a position of influence with your career or with your personal brand, and you set these standards for yourself, you will do the same for those who follow you. Why? Because all of these qualities are contagious. Keeping a positive attitude and showing relentless commitment to the task at hand are non-negotiable in leading with success, whether it's leading a team, your community, or your own life. If this was your first time listening, please be sure to subscribe to this podcast on your favorite platform so that you never miss a dose of the real talk we dispense every single week to help you make the biggest impact in your career and sphere of influence for your personal brand and pharmacy. If you found just one nugget of knowledge that you think is useful, that you're putting into practice, or is hitting you think differently, please share this episode on your favorite social media platform to help grow our community and message that you can dispense your full potential and become the change you wish to see in pharmacy. It all starts with you. I consider it a dose of support and really appreciate every single act of encouragement from you, Fit Pharm fam. With that being said, go forth, be great, and dispense your full potential. God bless.
I see my victory so clear. I see my victory so clear.